So guess what? Friend of the show, Steve Bannon, said some pretty hair-raising stuff about Donald Trump running for a third term. So remember, Bannon's one of the, as they say, one of the chief architects of the MAGA movement. So let's listen to this. I don't know if you've heard this, Kurt, but this is kind of crazy.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28. And
Whoa, a third term president. So many comparisons between Donald Trump and FDR. Am I right? They both started wars. The only difference is that Trump found deportation to be more cost efficient than internment camps.
Did you hear what the idiot just said? He said they both started wars. FDR didn't start a war. There was something called Pearl Harbor, you moron. Unbelievable.
A little
hey,
yeah, 6 of 1.
well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28. And people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term. Right, and he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me in the last few minutes. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through Zanny and define all those terms.
But even if you find a way to undermine you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it. And to those
Can the American people, if the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes. Actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all. Trump
That's what it sounds like.
It's not. Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
But Steve, you've just spent the last 20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I guess that's why it seems to me some kind of tension
First
there.
off, the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people. Okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started. And President Trump is the instrument, a providential instrument to finish this job.
Now, I think Steve Bannon has lots of, if Trump would have listened to him, he'd be better off in his first term. He's got a lot of good populist ideas. I think this is a bad idea. It's going to, can you turn up, Kurt?
Oh.
Say again, Kurt?
You think people are going to vote for Trump in 28 after what he just did, bailing out Soros? And
I don't think so.
Is Israel the only people voting in our elections?
You know, Jimmy Dore voted for Donald Trump, and now he's trying to sort of walk that back because of the disaster it is. He didn't have to vote for Donald Trump. You know, you don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. I completely understand that. There were other candidates.
What is wrong with these people? Oh, let's dance!
He could have voted for Stein again. Could have done it. So, and he has that idiot Metzger on there, Kurt Metzger, who kept saying over and over again that Ariel Sharon was assassinated in the 90s. That was Itzhak Rabin. That was not Ariel Sharon. Just repeating falsehoods constantly. Nobody corrects him. Jimmy Dore is all about the clicks. He's all about, he was attacking the Democratic Party for good reason. And he got a bunch of right-wingers in his audience, and he felt like he could sort of thread the needle of having both a right-wing and left-wing audience at the same time, which is ridiculous. And it went so bad that he decided to vote for Trump. And because he thought, at least he claimed that Trump was anti-war, as he, in his first term, assassinated one of the top generals of Iran, Soleimani. Jimmy Dore, you're a total idiot. It's just time to give it up. Okay, so he doesn't seem that alarmed to me. If you continue to watch the video, I encourage people to watch the video. Jimmy's like, I like Steve Bannon, but I think it's a bad idea. But my friends, my Hollywood friends, they all say that he's going to try to stay in office. Hey, idiot, isn't this a perfect example of him trying to stay in office? There's tons of evidence for it. How about the first term where a reporter asked him if he would agree, the first election, before any votes were cast, he gave it away. He gave the game away. A reporter asked him, will you agree to a peaceful transfer of power? And Trump said, well, we'll have to look at it. How would he have known there would have been any election fraud or voter fraud at that point if you're Trump? Because Trump claims the election was stolen the first time around against Biden. He would have had no evidence that no votes were counted. He wanted to stay, and he wants to stay this time around. And Bannon is making the case. Yeah, they're getting everybody prepared. They don't want this. Initially, I think they were going to try to do it in the in the darkness of night, and they realized, okay, we're probably going to have to let people know about our plans, so they're not so shocked. That's why they're sending the National Guard to these blue cities. It's not about crime. They're not doing any. They march through safe neighborhoods. What are you talking about?